Of virtual learning is Knuffle Bunny Too. So the last book that I recorded was Knuffle Bunny, and this is Knuffle Bunny Too. They're both by one of our favorite authors, Mo Willems. And so my very first question right off the bat, since we already read Knuffle Bunny 1 and now we're reading Knuffle Bunny 2, is I want you to compare Trixie, the main character, and how she looks different in this story versus the other one. What changes can you tell there are about our main character so far? And I'm going to go ahead and start reading. One morning, not so long ago, Trixie took a walk with her daddy. By now, Trixie really knew how to talk. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to show Amy, and then I'll show Meg, and talk and talk. And then I'll show Margaret, and then I'll show Jane, and then I'll show Leela, and then I'll show Rebecca, and then I'll show Noah, and then I'll show Robbie, and then I'll show Tashi, and then I'll show Casey, and then I'll show Connie, and then I'll show Parker, and then I'll show Brian, and then Trixie was excited because she was taking her one-of-a-kind Knuffle Bunny someplace very special. Come on. So the book used the term one of a kind. They said that her Knuffle Bunny was one of a kind and she was going to take it someplace special. So my very first vocabulary question for you is, what does one of a kind mean? Talk about that with an adult or with a sibling and share what you think one of a kind means. First graders, this would be a great opportunity for you to even teach the word to a younger sibling if you have one. She was taking Knuffle Bunny to school. Trixie couldn't wait to show Knuffle Bunny to Miss Greengrove and all her friends in pre-K. But just as her daddy kissed her goodbye, Trixie saw Sonia. Suddenly, Trixie's one-of-a-kind Knuffle Bunny wasn't so one-of-a-kind anymore. Now, even though Trixie's Knuffle Bunny wasn't one-of-a-kind, does that mean that it's not special anymore? Talk about that with somebody who's listening to the story with you, about how something that, even though it might not be one of a kind, it can still be very special. The morning did not go well. Knuffle, 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 Knuffle. The afternoon was even worse. How do the illustrations that Mo Willems drew on these pages show you how Trixie and Sonia feel about each other? And I'll hold this page up again for you to see that. And at the very end of this page, we can see that the teacher grabs both Knuffle Bunnies and takes them away. Why do you think the teacher did that? Here's a picture of that. When the school bell rang, Miss Greengrove returned the Knuffle Bunnies, and the day got better. Then, before she knew it, it was time to go home. Trixie ate her dinner, devoured her dessert, and brushed her teeth. On this page, why do you think the author put ate in quotation marks? What do you think the author's trying to say? And tried to escape the mommy and daddy robots from planet Snurp. At 1:30 bedtime, Trixie was tucked in, ready for sleep. But a few hours later, Trixie realized something. Second vocabulary question is, what does the word realized mean? Talk about that, what the word realized means. When you're done talking about what it means, I want you to think about what she realized. So what did she realize happened on this page? And then my last question for this page is, why would Mo Willems change the size of the words? Over here, they start off a little bit smaller. And then as we read, realized gets bigger and something at the bottom gets even bigger. So why would the author put realized and something bigger than the other words on the page? Trixie marched into her mommy and daddy's room and said, "This is not my bunny." Trixie's daddy tried to explain what 2:30 in the morning means. He asked, "Can we deal with this in the morning?" My next question is, I want you to really read the pictures on this page and think about what kind of conversation Trixie's having with her daddy at this point. What do you think Trixie's daddy is going to do? Then Trixie's daddy went to the phone. I think Trixie talked her daddy into getting her Knuffle Bunny back. Before he even made it down the stairs, bring, bring, the phone rang. "We have your bunny," said a man's voice on the other end. So who else do you think noticed that the bunnies were different if the other dad was calling? "We have yours," replied Trixie's daddy. Arrangements were made. What does arrangements mean? If the two dads made arrangements, what do you think is going to happen next? Trixie and her daddy rushed across the neighborhood. Trixie did not want to be late. Trixie and her daddy are way over here. And neither did Sonia. And then Sonia and her daddy are way over here. There was an exchange. Second vocabulary word, What does exchange mean? We can see that we've got both girls and their daddies and then both Knuffle Bunnies. So what does exchange mean? And the Knuffle Bunnies were back where they belonged. I was so worried about my bunny, said Sonia. So was I, Trixie replied. Then they both said, I'm glad you got your bunny back, at the exact same time. How do their faces look different on this page than they did on the page with the teacher where they got their bunnies taken away? I'll show you this page again. So how do they look different on this page than they did earlier in the story? And that is how Trixie found her first best friend. Knuffle Bunny was the exception, of course, because Knuffle Bunny was Trixie's first best friend. That's what this says down here. Special thanks to the real Trixie and her mommy, Tom Drysdale, the Brooklyn Public Library, the Robinson family, the Lewin family, Miss Theope, Miss Holton, and PS 107 community. Sounds like those might have been the places where we got these real pictures in the background from. So let me flip back to this page with the picture of the park and stuff. That's probably where these real illustrations came from. And that was down here in fine print. And then there's an epilogue. The next morning, both Trixie and Sonia rushed to school. The new best friends had a lot of catching up to do. Do you want to play with my Knuffle Bunny? Sure. Do you want to play with mine? On this page, I wonder, what do you think the dads are feeling? If we look close at their eyes, how do you think the dads are feeling? And why would they maybe not want the girls to play with each other's bunnies or to play with the bunnies together? Why might that be a bad idea? So that is Knuffle Bunny Too. And my very last question for you is, even though Trixie's bunny looks very similar to Sonia's bunny, we can see that on the back, we said that it's possible that the bunnies can still be special even though they're not one of a kind. So I want you to think about something special that you have at home, and you